The Indian economy is growing rapidly due to digitization. Add the onset of 5G to this mix, and there are no limits to what technology will be able to do. Hello, I'm Shiladitya, and in today's episode of Capgemini's Techiepdia series, we'll be in conversation with Monika Gupta, Group 5G and Edge Lead for Industries and Partnerships at Capgemini. In today's exciting episode, we'll be talking about the digital revolution our economy is experiencing, the onset of 5G, and so much more. But before that, let's take a quick break and we'll see you on the other side.
Hey everyone, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. Attention please! Your favorite finance podcast is getting bigger and better. For all you loyal listeners, we present you Club Paisa Vaisa. What's special? Well, get the latest episodes 3 days before release, content that is ad-free, bonus content and access to the full show archive. So get your yearly membership today for only rupees 699. Log on to club.ivmpodcast.com/paisavaisa. On the Habit Coach, Ashton answers a listener's question on how to deal with the urge to switch careers. On the Life Manifesto, Zarina shares how to improve your focus while manifesting. On Pulyabazi, Saurabh, Pranay and Khyati discuss parking policy reforms they have observed in their neighborhood over a period of time. And on the Wire Talks, Siddharth talks to Narasimha Ram, former editor-in-chief of The Hindu, about Gautam Adani's takeover of NDTV and its ramifications. Once again, do not forget to visit our merch store on ivmpodcast.com. We have got some super cool and exciting stuff over there for you and your loved ones. Follow us on social media. We are at IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. If you like our shows, do spread the word. You know, it really helps us a lot. And of course, do not forget to rate and review our shows wherever you are listening to them. You can also find all our video shows on youtube.com/IVM Podcasts. And finally, we would like to thank our sponsors this week, Kotak Privilege Program, Capgemini, and HDFC Mutual Fund. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Hi, Monica. Welcome to Capgemini's Techiepdia. How are you doing?
Hi, Shiladitya. Doing well. Looking forward to this discussion with you.
No, thank you so much for being here with us. And, this is, we've been doing this podcast series, and this is actually season 2 with yet another episode. I think with experts like you coming on board, telling us about these interesting topics that we cover here, it's been really enlightening. So I'm looking forward to discussing yet another very interesting topic today, which is 5G. And I think, more than that, it's one of those things which used to be spoken about as a up and coming futuristic technology. And today here we are actually talking about it when most people today have probably already heard about what 5G is, or maybe even have a 5G phone themselves. So it's good to talk about something which we can touch and feel and experience already. And of course, it'll be great to have your views, because you've probably spent a long time understanding this technology, and of course seeing this as it has unfolded. So just to sort of kick off the discussion, given this is a telecom technology, what can you tell us about how it has sort of evolved? What's been the the revolutionary sort of change that's coming because of 5G and due to its rollout? If you can give us like a brief.
Sure, Shiladitya. So, just like you mentioned, 5G is actually the next generation of mobile communications technology. We have had the 1G, the 2G, the 3G, and the 4G in the past.
Right.
What is unique about 5G is that this technology is designed to make mobile broadband connectivity industry ready or industry grade. And the fine difference is that the previous generations of mobile technologies were more consumer focused, and this is more enterprise and industry focused. And what it opens up is a complete new, avenue of possibilities. Because now you have, the industry, the enterprises, the societies, and through them, individuals and consumers all getting impacted. So it's a complete 360-degree impact, vis-a-vis just us as individuals and consumers using this technology in the past.
Right. And I think when you mentioned the various that's generations, right? I think the most obvious thing which as consumers we see is the speed. And I think that's been the sort of reference most people have, that, as each generation comes, the speeds are getting faster. But what you mentioned is that because of this, I mean, that is obviously one part of it. But beyond the speed, it's also enabling a whole bunch of other new experiences, new sort of technology enabled, I would say, services. So what are some of those things, like you mentioned, for enterprises? What are some of those things which are expected to roll out on the back of 5G now?
Sure. So there are two aspects to it. One is the basic capabilities in 5G, which make it ready for industrial enterprises. In addition to speed, there is the response time, which is called as latency. Then there is the security and the reliability aspect. And then there is also custom QoS or custom quality of service, because in industrial operations, not one size or one connectivity fits all. So if, getting a bit into a bit of technical detail, but if you just see the way 5G is designed, there are three clear categories of use cases. There is ultra reliable low latency communications, there is enhanced mobile broadband communications, and then there is massive IoT communications. So different industrial and business use cases require different capabilities, or may require one or more of these three capabilities, and that's one. Now, what is it that these capabilities will enable in the industries? So across industrial operations, what is it that any of these mobile broadband or ultra reliable connectivities can activate? One is the whole new thing of autonomous mobility. And when I talk of autonomous mobility, I talk of vehicles, I talk of cars, I talk of robots and cobots, and even mobile, AMRs, or automatic mobile robots. Now, when you use these things across industries, be it warehouses, be it in on the shop floor, be it in supply chain use cases, or be it in remote areas, or operations which are not conducive for human operations, there is a lot of automation and there is a lot of operational efficiency which you can induce. Similarly, if you talk of immersive experiences, AR, VR, XR, if you talk of real-time multimedia or audio-video streaming, and if you complement it with AI-based self-computer, artificial intelligence-based insights and actions, there is a lot of intelligence you can drive it. And very, very, standard or sundry. But if you just look at replacing a lot of wires with mobile or wireless connectivity, that itself gives you a lot of flexibility and operational efficiency. So these are all the things which will get activated. And now if you just look at the different kind of services you have in any industrial operations, you have product design and development, you have product support services, you have product life cycle management and product supply chain. Now, if you apply these capabilities across the industrial landscape of design, develop, build, serve, care, I mean, the potential and the possibilities are endless. And that's what this technology is going to unleash, or that's the potential which this technology will unleash. It's in a very simple way. It's a shift from wired to wireless, but like just I explained, that the potential is absolutely limitless.
Right. And in fact, given that this is also a stage for India, right, where we are, strolling out 5G when we've already had, let's say, so many years of wireless technology existing, telecom networks expanding, and so on. What do you think is in store for India in particular? I mean, obviously, all of these industries are poised for upgrading their technologies and upgrading their services. But what do you think will be the main sort of few pointers from your end of how this will benefit India?
So for India specifically, Shiladitya, we have a very interesting situation. While most of the consumers or the mobility adoption by the consumers has been absolutely spectacular in the last few years, and specifically with the coming of 4G, but most of the industries are still using the erstwhile wired connectivity. And for that matter, digitization in the industries has not been at the same pace as the digital adoption by the consumer. So it's actually, a win-win situation for us, because on one side, India and the Indian enterprises and industries will now become more digital and more autonomous. And timing wise, we also have a technology which can spur and accelerate this adoption. So it's like, a double boost to our industries, and which is where we hope and we expect to see 5G playing a key role in this exponential digitization and this growth in India, and which is where, recently you would have heard even our respective Prime Minister mention that we are actually in India entering a tech decade, and this tech decade will usher in a new digital economy for India.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. When you mentioned that most of, let's say, the industrial landscape has been sort of waiting for a substantial upgrade to I believe, I guess, connectivity and telco, broadband overall. I think that will be a game changer, of course, and I'm waiting to see everything that changes in our lives, of course, as a result of this. So, continuing on that path, since you mentioned that obviously the consumer boom of telecom, even with 3G and 4G, has been massive already. 5G will even further that, right? So let's say, if I ask you from a trend perspective, right, what kind of consumer trends or overall industry trends do you think will quickly pick up as 5G rolls out also?
Absolutely. So like I mentioned, whenever a new technology and whenever you have this kind of an enhanced mobile connectivity option, it has a holistic approach because or a holistic impact, because from a consumer point of view, the coverage will become better because 5G inherently is a much more efficient and a much more performing technology. That's natural, right? It's just the next generation of a technology. So that suddenly makes ubiquitous, better quality and higher speed broadband connectivity available to the wider geography like India. So that itself is a big plus. That will have a direct impact on all consumers and the services which we currently use. And that is, like I said, it's a B2C kind of a case, or basically mobility towards consumers. Now in that, if you add the B2B and the B2B2C aspect, be it advanced healthcare using digital connectivity, entertainment and media using digital connectivity, smart city solutions, and then core mobile broadband connectivity implementations in Industry 4.0. I mean, each of these have a direct impact on the industry and the economy, and also have a direct or an indirect impact onto us as individuals, because these impact our way of life, our quality of life, and these also impact our way of work. And as individuals, our work also is an integral part of our day-to-day lives.
No, of course. And, like, we take for granted so many things now, which probably a few years ago was effort, right? Especially given the kind of connectivity we enjoy today. I don't think I've had a buffering video in a long time,
True.
everywhere, whether it's on the phone, whether it's on, even at home, on home networks. So it truly is. And of course, in the last 2 years, we've seen we are doing this call over video. It's seamless. It's there's no different, there's no lag, there's no performance issues. So yeah, it will only get better and better, and I think that's absolutely expected. So coming to let's say reality, I mean, I know maybe when we spoke about 5G, like I said a couple of years ago, it was, oh, it will come, and we knew these things would happen. Today we've started the rollout. I think rollout's happening. All of the speeds are available in various pockets, and I think that will happen very rapidly. So what is the current preparedness of our country per se, right? Like, when do we expect India to be, let's say, fully 5G enabled, and how long will we actually see these things, sort of, which you mentioned, coming to the fore?
Okay, so like I said, that this technology, it's a step change one. Right. So every process and every such step change has its own timing. You cannot expect it to happen, say, overnight or in a matter of a few weeks. Like you mentioned, the rollouts have already happened. So if you see, both the government and the telcos are very, very keen and putting in a lot of effort in making this technology massively available and wide scale available in India. The rollouts have already started, and they will continue with time. There is a lot of groundwork which needs to be done, including fiberization and fiber connectivity all over India, which is already happening and will only kind of accelerate and happen more and more. Also, from a government point of view, with the to be launched 4G and 5G services by BSNL. We also have a new telecom service provider coming in, which will also make more availability and more services available. And also BSNL, being the government incumbent, will also give a further push towards connectivity towards the rural India and the massive mass outreach. So I think all of these efforts are happening. Like I said, this will make the technology more widespread and ubiquitously available. But then in parallel, what is also required is an attempt to make the industry more and more familiar, not just with 5G, but with mobile connectivity in itself. And that is new for them. And for which, if you might have recently seen, our respected communications minister had announced that the government is encouraging all the different departments and ministries to set up 5G experimentation labs. And even the private sector, including Capgemini. In fact, in Capgemini, we have been the first. We have the 5G lab actually operational and running in Mumbai for more than a year now. We launched it in mid 2021. So, experimentation and proving the value of mobile broadband connectivity and of 5G in the industrial operations is key for the industry adopting it. So that would be another, step which will help in the adoption. And then the last point would be of, creating the use cases, creating the business applications, and the entire solution ecosystem. And when I say the solution ecosystem, is the devices, is the solution availability, it's the platforms, all of that available, which will most likely happen with these labs coming in. So for example, in our lab in Mumbai, we have end-to-end industry use cases across different industry sectors. We have the device ecosystem, the platforms, the replication of the enterprise architecture. Once this is done, this experimentation is done across industry sectors and across all the departments, ministries, and private sector in India, we will be ready for mass deployment and scale.
Wow. Yeah. And it's such a critical part of this also, right? Because while there's a lot of theoretical possibilities that we have always been sort of waiting for, I think the practical implementation, the practical testing is a very important step to getting things actually in use. And even the education bit, I think, is very important for people to know that they can rely on high speed broadband or telco communications, and everything can be built on top of that. So yeah, absolutely, Monika. Really, looking forward to seeing all these things being enabled. Thanks to again companies like Capgemini and yourself and everyone working in this ecosystem. I want to end with a little bit more of let's say one more step further into the future. Into once 5G is rolled out, what next? Like what can we expect to become commonplace in the future because of it? And of course, looking even further beyond that, as a closing note, what would you leave us with?
So, for me, the best thing is that the proof is right in front of us. 2 decades before, none of us knew what mobility and mobile broadband connectivity can do in our day-to-day lives. I would love to look into the crystal ball and kind of only expect much more exponentially higher impact with what a similar mobile broadband connectivity can do when we also bring the society, the industry, the enterprises, and the businesses into this aspect. So if consumers can be impacted by this in the last 2 decades in ways and means which we never even envisaged, digital payments, digital apps, and digital ways of working in a day-to-day life, this would perhaps be the future of businesses, industries, enterprises, the way we work, the way we interact with businesses and enterprises in our day-to-day life. I think that is the future. So be it healthcare, be it smart cities. So perhaps the future today, if the future is that we use book an app using Uber, tomorrow perhaps the future would be that while we book, we will know what's the kind of situation. We would be able to perhaps switch on a camera somewhere on the street to see what is the traffic situation there.
Nice.
I mean, the future is endless. I mean,
Yeah.
even be it connected health, the last 2 years forced us to move all consultations onto video. Perhaps
Right.
in future, the point of care will be all that we would be able to self, do self medical imaging and self diagnostics sitting
Yeah.
anywhere, and have a live interaction with the doctor. So that's the
Wow.
future. So just each industry, the future of manufacturing, the future of smart factories, the future of health, the future of transport, the future of education, they can all very easily be impacted by such quality mobile connectivity.
Wow. And I mean, absolutely. I think both the examples and, of course, the many more we have been hearing about are just waiting to become a reality. And I think that's what we're fortunate to have, these sort of discussions where people get a little more enlightened about the future to come. And I think, it was lovely hearing about this from you. And of course, waiting to see all of this very, very interesting technology roll out. Monica, thank you so much for, sharing your views with us today, giving us all of this insight into what 5G is and what will it be, what it will enable. And of course, as always, as part of the Capgemini Techiepdia, thank you so much for being with us and, sharing everything with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me as well. Thank you. It was a pleasure doing this chat.
So, as you heard from that conversation, there's no doubt that 5G will change the world. Whether it's better communication or building smart cities, it's going to alter everything. What do you think are some of the changes that will be experienced with the onset of 5G? Come and be a part of this conversation on Instagram at Capgemini India, and I'll see you on the next episode of Capgemini's Techipedia series.